So alright guys, so let's talk about the last one, which is logical operators, right? So now, what are the logical operators that we have? So when you are using a logical operator, it is still you using a relational operators, but now you are combining it with more things like the and, the or. So what do I mean? I mean, maybe you have a relational operation, then you want to also confirm another relational operation and so on. So this is what I mean. So remember, we are expecting a value in Boolean. So let's say is valid. So I can say is valid. So I can, okay, valid. So I can simply say if the age, let's quickly define a age. If the age, let's say the age is 17. Oops, I can't type today. The age is 17, right? So if the age is greater than 18, right? So what value are you expecting? The value will be false, right? So we have another operators called logical operators, and these are um and or. So you can see and, which means and, right? So it's like and. So it is a double ampersand, right? So we also have another one, or, which is this or. So when you have a double ampersand, it means and. So we are trying to say that this particular thing on the left hand side is valid and the one on the right hand side is valid. And when you say or, it means one of it, starting looking from the left hand side, is valid. So when I say age is greater than 18 and the age is less than 100. So okay, let's say age is greater than 18 and maybe the age is less than 40. Let's say, okay, let's do this. Is a youth, is youth, let's say youth. So I think this makes sense. So to validate if someone is a youth, we want to make sure that the person is above 18. Okay, let's say greater or equal. You can say the person is above 18 and at the same time the person is less than 18. So if the person is older than 40, the person is no longer a youth, right? So that is what we are trying to do. So let me quickly alert this. So if this is a youth, so is youth, right? So you know what? Let me have this age as a global. Let me have it as an input. Since we already know what an input is, so we can just have it like this. So enter your age. We can prompt the user, enter your age. Your age, please. Or we can say kindly enter your age, whatever. So we can say this property. Remember, let's add this so that we'll be able to show this. So if the age that the person enter is greater than or equal to 18 and at the same time less than 40, that means we are dealing with a youth, right? So let me save and compile. So I will launch this. Let me take this out of here. So I will launch this and it is telling me to input my age. Now let's assume I specify that I'm 17. So it is going to tell me that no, you are okay. You know what? Let's say okay, let's leave it like that. So it is telling me false, that I'm not a youth. So that is that. So let me try to give it a value of maybe 18. So I'll say okay, it's going to tell me for true. That means I am a youth, right? So let's see if I can give it a value of 33. Of course, that is still within the age range of a youth, right? So it is still going to give me true. So let's see if we can specify maybe 44 or 45. So it's now going to tell me false, which you are not a youth, please. When you intend to compare two or more relational operators or operation, you can use the and sign. So you are not limited to just two. You can also say, make sure that maybe the age is not maybe you want to exempt people that are in their 20s, or you're not limited to just using this. You can also have something like a name, maybe John. So maybe John. You can also say make sure that the person's name is not John. Make sure that the name is not John, or the name is not McDonald, or whatever. So you can also do this, and like I said, you are not just limited to just two or three. So you can continue. You can continue adding more relational operation. So you can say and this and that and this. Also, so now when you are doing this, it simply means make sure that every piece of relational operation is correct before you consider everything to be true. So if this is true, this is true and this is true, then the value here will be true. But the moment one of these values is false, maybe this is true, and this is false, so that means everything will become false. So that is that for AND. So every operation must be true if you are using AND. And there is another operator called OR, right? So let's say this OR. Okay, you know what, for now let's take this out so that we won't get confused. So if someone is above 18, right? So automatically the person is a youth. And if the person is less than 40, automatically the person is a youth. So that means you are ignoring, of course, there is a problem here in case of our concept. So that means you are ignoring people that are maybe less than 18, right? So you're saying if somebody is 17 or if somebody is 2 years old, the person is a youth. Maybe that's what you are, maybe that's your intention. So, but in general, when you are using or, it means starting from the left hand side, start looking from the left hand side. So the moment the value of any of the relational operation that you are having on the left hand side is true, just consider every other thing to be true. Even if all the other values on the right hand side is false, just consider it to be true. So that is what it means. So starting from the left hand side, the moment any of the value is true, and what combines the relational with the logical operators that you are using in that manner is or. That means if this is true, or this is true, or this is true, or this is true, the moment the first guys on the left hand side is true, every other thing will be true, even if other parts, other operators, other relational operators or operation on the right hand side is false. So far the one on the leftmost part is true, it is going to consider every other thing to be true. So that concludes operators. So we've covered arithmetic operators, which is just using the equal sign, right? So you can simply add this, which is just the equal sign, the single equal sign, right? Then we talk about arithmetic operators, we talk about the relational operators, then now we've talked about the logical operators. So I'll see you on the next one.